Hi everyone, I'm really glad you're here. If you're trying to improve your English, especially your listening and reading skills, you're in the right place. In this series, we'll learn English together through something that's fun, interesting, and meaningful: history from around the world. Each video, I'll share a story from a different country, maybe a famous event, a legend, or something surprising from the past. I'll read it out loud slowly and clearly so you can listen and read at the same time. This will help you understand new words, hear how English sounds in real conversation, and build your confidence step by step. You don't need to study with a big textbook or memorize boring grammar rules. Just relax, listen to the story, and follow along. And don't worry, I'll explain any new words as we go. So, let's enjoy learning English through the amazing stories of our world, one video at a time. Are you ready? Let's begin. Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa, with over 220 million people. It sits in West Africa, bordered by countries like Cameroon, Niger, and Benin, and touches the Atlantic Ocean in the south. It is known for its rich culture, music, oil resources, and vibrant cities like Lagos, Abuja, and Kano. Nigeria is a country full of energy, talent, and diversity. More than 500 different languages are spoken here. There are over 250 ethnic groups, including the Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, and many others. With so many cultures living together, Nigeria is sometimes called the Giant of Africa. But Nigeria has faced many challenges: colonization, civil war, military rule, and economic struggles. At the same time, it has shown great strength in its art, education, faith, and hope. In this journey, we'll explore the story of Nigeria in 5 chapters. Chapter 1: Ancient Civilizations and Early Kingdoms. Chapter 2: Colonization and the Struggle for Power. Chapter 3: Independence and the Dreams of a New Nation. Chapter 4: Civil War, Military Rule, and the Road to Democracy. Chapter 5: Modern Nigeria, Challenges, Culture, and Great Potential. Let's begin where it all started, long before the modern borders existed. Chapter 1: Ancient Civilizations and Kingdoms. Long before Nigeria became a modern country, powerful kingdoms and cultures thrived across its land. Some of the oldest evidence of life in Nigeria goes back thousands of years, with ancient tools, farming, and early art. One of the most famous early cultures was the Noac civilization, which lived in central Nigeria around 500 BCE. The Noak people were skilled in making terracotta sculptures, beautiful human and animal figures made from clay. These are some of the oldest artworks in Africa. Later, great kingdoms began to grow. In the north, the Cameroon New Empire and Hausa's city-states rose. They traded salt, gold, and books across the Sahara Desert. Islam came to this region through traders, and many became Muslim scholars and leaders. In the southwest, the Yoruba people built the Oyo Empire. Their capital, Ife, was a spiritual center. It was known for its bronze heads, rich stories, and traditions that continue today. In the southeast, the Igbo people lived in small, democratic communities. They had a strong system of family leadership and a deep respect for the land and ancestors. These kingdoms were full of life, with art, religion, farming, music, and trade. They had their own systems of government and belief long before Europeans arrived. Chapter 2: Colonization and the Struggle for Power. In the late 1400s, European traders arrived along the Nigerian coast. The Portuguese, and later the British, came to trade. First for goods like palm oil and ivory, but soon for slaves. Over time, millions of Africans, including many Nigerians, were taken across the Atlantic Ocean during the transatlantic slave trade. Families were broken. Cultures were hurt. This was a painful and dark time. By the 1800s, the British began to take control of Nigerian lands. In 1914, they joined many different regions into one country called Nigeria. But this country was created without asking the people living there. Different cultures and languages were forced to live under one flag, ruled by British laws. The British controlled politics, economy, and education. They taxed local people, but gave them little power. Nigerian farmers grew crops like cocoa and palm oil, but most profits went to Britain. Still, Nigerians began to resist. They started schools, newspapers, and movements. Educated leaders like Herbert Macaulay and Nnamdi Azikiwe spoke out. They wanted their country back. They wanted freedom. The fight for independence had begun. Chapter 3: Independence and the Dreams of a New Nation. On October 1st, 1960, Nigeria became independent from Britain. There were celebrations across the country. The green and white flag flew high. People believed this was the start of a bright future. Nigeria kept a federal system with power shared between regions. The first leaders came from the main ethnic groups: Hausa Fulani in the north, Yoruba in the west, and Igbo in the east. But Nigeria's size and diversity also caused tension. Political groups formed based on ethnicity, not ideas. Corruption started early. Leaders fought for power. The government was weak, and many people were still poor. Then, in 1966, the military took control. Young army officers carried out a coup. They killed politicians and replaced them with generals. Some said it would bring order. Instead, it brought more violence. By 1967, the eastern region declared it would break away and form a new country, Biafra. The Nigerian government refused. A civil war began. Chapter 4: Military Rule, Civil War, and Democracy. The Nigerian Civil War, also known as the Biafran War, lasted from 1967 to 1970. It was one of the worst wars in African history. Over 1 million people, many of them children, died mostly from hunger and disease. After Biafra surrendered, Nigeria stayed together, but the pain remained. The military stayed in power for most of the next 30 years. Different generals took over. Some promised change, but corruption grew. Oil money came in, but only a few got rich. In the 1970s and 80s, Nigeria became one of the world's top oil producers, but many people stayed poor. Schools and hospitals were weak. Some parts of the country had no clean water or electricity. In 1993, the military canceled an election many saw as fair. This caused protests across Nigeria. One leader, Mashood Abiola, was jailed and later died. People were angry. They wanted democracy. Finally, in 1999, the army stepped down. Olusegun Obasanjo, a former general, was elected president. Nigeria had returned to civilian rule. Chapter 5: Modern Nigeria, Strength, Struggles, and Spirit. Nigeria is a country of contrasts. It has huge wealth from oil, business, and trade. But many people still live on less than $2 a day. It has world-famous artists, musicians, and writers from Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie to Burna Boy and Wizkid. But it also struggles with violence, corruption, and unemployment. The country is often divided by region, religion, and tribe. In the north, the extremist group Boko Haram has caused great pain. In the south, oil pollution hurts the land and people. Young Nigerians want jobs and change. Still, Nigeria moves forward. Lagos is one of the fastest growing cities in the world. Nollywood, Nigeria's film industry, makes thousands of movies each year. Afrobeats music is danced to around the globe. Nigerians are proud, creative, and full of spirit. They protest when things are unfair. They celebrate life. They believe in the power of education and faith. More than anything, Nigerians believe in the future and in themselves. Nigeria is not just one story. It is a land of kings and kingdoms, of struggles and strength. It is a place where many voices sing together. Through war and peace, pain and joy, Nigeria rises again and again. It is a giant, not because it is perfect, but because it keeps going. Thank you for exploring Nigeria's story with us. Keep listening, keep learning, and remember, every country is full of voices. Every voice has value.